All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're opening up a new case file, conducting an investigative debrief on a really provocative claim that's been making waves in the UAP community. And let me tell you, this is a piece of intel that, well, if it's true, it's a game changer. And right there, that's the core of it. That's the quote we're dissecting today. I know for a fact they've had a landing. That's from UAP researcher Carl Crusher. And what he's alleging here is nothing short of monumental. He's saying a history-making event has already happened, and it happened completely off the books.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this debrief. We're going to start with the explosive claim itself, then trace it back to the source. After that, we'll break down the allegation piece by piece, connect some dots, and finally, we'll get to the investigator's conclusion. Let's do it.
All right, Section 1, the claim. Let's really pin down the core allegation we're looking at today.
So here it is, the central allegation, and it's a big one. The claim is that the UAP research group Skywatcher has actually downed a craft. And not only that, but they did it with NASA personnel on site. Yeah, we're not talking about just filming a light in the sky, we're talking about a full-on landing with official government observers there to see the whole thing.
Okay, next up, the source of this intel. Look, in any investigation, you've got to know where your information is coming from. So, who said this, and just as importantly, where?
And this is where it gets really interesting. This intel didn't come from some official report or a leaked government memo. Now, it came from a raw, unedited audio clip. We're talking about a hot mic moment, a candid conversation in the back of a truck during the filming of a documentary out in Utah. It's completely raw, totally unedited, and it's pretty clear it wasn't meant for us to hear just yet.
So in this clip, you've got three people in the conversation. There's Patrick, the filmmaker, who's asking the questions. You've got Gino from the Y-Files chiming in. But the guy we're focused on, the person making these incredible claims, is Carl Crusher. The whole thing really comes from him.
All right, let's move on. A claim this big, you can't just take it at face value. We have to dissect it, so let's break it down into its key components.
So the story that Crusher lays out has three pretty distinct steps. First, he says a psionic team, people focused on psychic stuff, mental phenomena. They actually predicted this landing a full day before it happened. Step 2, the craft actually lands. Details on that part are pretty fuzzy, to be honest. And finally, Step 3, NASA personnel were supposedly right there on the ground to witness it all. It's quite a sequence of events.
Okay, and this is the million-dollar question, right? For any investigator, this is where the rubber meets the road. Where did Carl Crusher get this intel from? A claim is only as good as its source, so let's dig in.
Well, according to Crusher himself, this all comes from one single anonymous source. Someone he says he knows who is on Skywatcher. He's very clear that he can't say who it is. And here's a really key detail. He also says he doesn't know if his source was even there to see it happen. So we're already talking about secondhand information at best.
Okay, let's pull the camera back a bit now and try to connect some dots. As an investigator, you can never look at one piece of intel in a vacuum. You have to look at the context. So how does this wild claim fit in with what Skywatcher has been doing lately?
And this is where things get interesting. Look at the shift. In the past, Skywatcher was all about active field operations, boots on the ground, releasing expedition footage. But now, they've publicly announced they're basically done with filming. They've shifted to analyzing data they already have. That's a pretty major pivot for a group like this, and it's what's fueling all this speculation.
So this naturally leads to a huge question, one that the filmmaker Patrick actually brings up in the clip. Did Skywatcher stop filming because they already won? Did they stop hunting for evidence because they finally got the big one? It's a compelling theory, right?
Look, if this claim from Crusher is true, it does explain everything perfectly. It's a neat, tidy answer for why a team that's all about capturing evidence would suddenly stop. It fits the narrative beautifully. But, and this is a big but, just because it fits doesn't mean it's a fact.
Okay, so let's get to our conclusion. After laying all this out, what can we say? As investigators, we have to be disciplined and stick to what we can actually verify. So based only on the intel we have, what's the final assessment?
When you really look at this claim with a critical eye, the gaps are, they're huge. We don't know the source's identity. We have no date, no time, no location. There's no description of the craft, no mention of any physical evidence, no photos, no radar data, nothing. And crucially, we have complete silence from both Skywatcher and NASA, not a peep. And because of all that, in our debrief, we have to classify the status of this intelligence as unsubstantiated. And what does that mean? It's simple. It's a claim that comes from a single, anonymous source passed on secondhand, with absolutely zero independent, verifiable evidence to support it.
So what's the bottom line here? It's this. An absolutely extraordinary claim has been put on the record. But for right now, it's just that, a claim. It's an unverified piece of intelligence from a single source. The story is incredible, it's compelling, but as of today, it's just a story, backed only by the word of one person telling us what they heard from someone else.
And that's where we have to leave it. It leaves us with this one big question. What are we looking at here? Is this the beginning of a historic leak? The first crack in the dam of secrecy? Or is it just another fascinating rumor in what's often called the wilderness of mirrors, another echo in the noise? For now, that is the unanswered question.